Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. I want to ask you a question, okay? Because I think this is a good time to have a really brief discussion about this. When you look at the images on this advertisement, right? Does anyone see a fighter who they feel are afraid? Does anyone here see a duck? Does anyone here see a coward? Does anyone here see a fighter who would lie to the media to make it look like the potential opponent is the one who's making it impossible for the fight to come together in order to make themselves look good and like the victim and like their potential opponent is the duck? Now, if you ask me, when it comes to Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, I just don't feel either one of those guys are afraid of each other. You have to understand the amateur pedigree of these guys. Ryan Garcia, how many wins this man had as an amateur? 100-something plus wins. Minimal losses. Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, very, very similar amateur records, man. The guys have some pop, have something special in their hands. But you see what's going on here with boxing, right? Let me tell you, it's not just PBC and Showtime. It's not just Golden Boy. It's not just across the pond with our brothers and sisters out there in the UK. You know, Frank Warren, the Eddie Hearns. Money is an issue. Money is a problem. You see, we're coming off of that Mayweather era. And for the most part, the best were fighting the best. Anyone who wants to complain, you know, I'm willing to have that argument with you. But there was a lot of money there. The fire sticks, the illegal streaming, it was a problem then, but not what it has grown into. So these key decision makers, when it comes to any opportunity to promote the fight, the promoting rights, the networks, sponsorship deals, endorsement deals, they want to make sure stars line up to where they benefit financially. They don't just want to come out and give everything to the opponent. They don't even want it 50-50 in most instances. And that's where you start hitting sticking points on these little fine hairs that they're splitting. Now, 9 times out of 10, we're not privy to that. They give us what they want us to know. Let me tell you, there's only one person that I will listen to in boxing, and that's Adrian Broner. Because Adrian Broner just doesn't give a damn. He's either going to talk and tell you what the hell is going on, or he's not going to say anything. And then there's a little insect that sticks on the wall from time to time. And if I could get an interview with that insect who's in the wall with Garcia and Tank, I would love to hear what that insect had to say, what the fly on the wall had to say. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So what I'm saying is, will Tank and Ryan Garcia happen? Maybe. But it's a serious, serious financial drought out here. And it's so bad to where these promoters, the networks, and those other key decision makers behind the scenes, right? They're so thirsty. I understand negotiations, right? You get what you can negotiate. But you got Ryan and Garcia. To me, they bring about the same to the table. I understand what Tank has done with the live gates. I get it. But then you look at Ryan Garcia's profile. It matters, what he has going on social media. But when you bring the two of them together, right? If Ryan Garcia and Tank fight, and Tank beats Ryan Garcia, and, say Tank enters the fight as A side, the first side. If he beats Ryan Garcia, then if they say there's no need for a fight, well, then there's no need for a fight. But if he loses, then he says, okay, this rematch thing here, I want to execute it. No problem, in my opinion, but I don't think it's fair to come now and say, I lost to Ryan Garcia, but I'm still going to be the A side. Nah, that's not how it should work. I don't think Tank brings that much to the table to where he should come and dictate things if he loses. If he loses to Ryan Garcia, I just don't think he brings that much to the table to where he can pull an Anthony Joshua and tell a fighter, if you want to fight me, 3 fights. First fight, I'm the A side. 70-30, 80-20 split. Second fight, you beat me the first fight, I'm the 8 side. I'm still the 8 side. Splits pretty much still the damn same. Now, if you beat me a second time, if we decide to do a third fight, then you're the A side. You know everything's in your favor. That's crazy. Shrewd business, but that's what Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua have done to opponents. And I'm not saying they're wrong. What I'm saying is that's crazy to me. But when you got someone who has nothing and there's an opportunity that they'll never get an opportunity like that again, they got to take it or leave it. So I just don't think Tank Davis is in the kind of position to what like Anthony Joshua was with the opponents that he was facing. So I think to me it should just be a first fight, whatever. Tank's the A side, it is what it is. But if he loses, then Ryan Garcia should become the A side and everything should be in their favor. The Zone, Golden Boy, etc. My 2 cents. But if we bubble up now and you look at Canelo Alvarez and Bertabiev, that's a good fight. We know Canelo's not afraid of anyone. And although I have him, I think we all have him as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, he's done a lot. This man is moving up different weight classes. You got to look when he started fighting pro. He's got a lot of wear and tear on him, although he's a young man, but he's been fighting for so long, almost 20 years now. You know how much training that is? You know how much sparring that is? You know how much the toll that takes on your body? Canelo's another one. I'm going to tell you right now, although he has, impeccable defense, I did a video about Shane Mosley and talking about Shane Mosley and the slurred speech. A couple of people said that maybe he was drunk in the video, but I've never known Shane Mosley to be a drinker. So I'd be shocked to know that he was intoxicated. But, anything's possible. Some people like to hit the firewater. But for me, I think with Shane Mosley, I think those are just showing some signs of the wear and tear of fighting too long. And for Canelo, he hasn't been beat down in a fight. Even when he fought Bivol, he got his butt tore out the frame, but he didn't necessarily get beat down because his defense is so good. But he took a lot of shots. But if Canelo doesn't sort things out, he could end up in the next couple of years where you see some slurred speech down the road. Because again, remember, he's not a guy who really took a lot of damage in a lot of fights because of his defense and his power. He's been able to get guys out of there, but he's been fighting for a long, long time. So when you look at what they're doing right now, Canelo, he wants to fight Bivol. All right, they're saying I've already done videos on this, but it's frustrating that they're trying to force Bivol to fight Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Bertabiev and Caleb Smith are supposed to be fighting next, right? Then after that, Bertabiev, the winner of that, is not going to necessarily be able to go up against Bivol because, the WBC is saying that, Bivol can't basically fight for their titles because of him being Russian. But Bertabiev is Russian. Bertabiev lives in Canada. Bivol lives in California. So why can Bertabiev, now watch this, why can Bertabiev fight for the WBC title but not Canelo at 175? But, not Bivol at 175. Stupid, right? But then you say if Bivol wants to fight Canelo at 168, then you'll authorize that. What is the difference in Bivol fighting at 175 or 168? I'm going to tell you the difference. It's Canelo. And they're trying to force him on Canelo because Canelo wants that rematch. And they're trying to force him to dry himself up to get to 168 to give Canelo an advantage. And although it'll be up for all the titles at 168, I just think that it's really unfair and corny. Now, let's forget about Bivol. The fight that, to me, quit chasing Bivol. Bivol already tore you out the frame. Why don't you go and fight Beterbiev? Let me tell you, I think that fight would be interesting. Just how long will Canelo's defense stand up in there against this monster? Canelo's not Yardy. Canelo doesn't have that size. He doesn't have as much power, but Canelo's got some power. But he getting there with Beterbiev, I think stylistically it'd be entertaining. I just don't think it'll be a long fight. I think Canelo gets turned into carne asada within 3 rounds and get rolled up like a little blanket, a little burrito. And I'm not trying to be funny or anything. I'm just saying, if we're not adults, we can't sit here and just make a little joke and, this ain't the page for you. And I think that's what's going to happen. If not, if Canelo can get those shots off on Beterbiev, Canelo can turn his ass into carne asada and roll Beterbiev up into a little burrito. But I just don't think that's going to happen. They know the risks are out there, and they're not going to put them together. But stylistically, since they're both come-forward fighters, pretty much offense first, defensively responsible, but still offense first, I just think that would be an amazing fight to make. But as far as someone being afraid here, Beterbiev definitely is not afraid. I think Canelo is aware. I wouldn't never call Canelo afraid of anyone, but I'll say he's aware of the dangers surrounding a fight with Beterbiev. Now, the next fight, Spence and Crawford, right? Look, at this point, I don't even know what to say. One thing I will say is Spence fans are passionate. Crawford fans are passionate. They only hear what they want to hear about their fighter, whether it's good or bad. I honestly think it's just a matter of time before a Spence or Crawford fan gets recorded on camera running up and down the road biting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point that things have reached with the Spence-Crawford drama and the Spence and Crawford hooligans. At some point, they're going to start running up and down the road biting each other. Make sure you get your rabies shots because they may spin out of control and come your direction. They may start nipping at you. But as far as these two, no one's scared, man. It's just all frustrating, and we're not going to sit here and go in depth about what all happened. What I would like to add is let's just take a look at the crap going on with Wilder and Andy Ruiz. Let's take a look at the crap going on with Tank Davis and Golden Boy. Let's look at the stuff that Adrian Broner was talking about. Let's look at the fact that you got some of these big names who have titles like Jamal Charlo, who hasn't fought in a while. Some of that due to recently to personal issues. They have some legal issues before. Some of that is also due to them not having enough main event slots. And there have been opportunities for some of these fighters who are on the PBC stable, right? First, they have too many fighters. They don't have enough slots for other fighters. But there have been opportunities for some of these guys to come in and fight as a co-main, and they don't want that. And it's just not much PBC can do. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to manage a pretty robust roster of fighters. But when you look at what's going on right now with Spence and Crawford, although they're saying right now that talks are ongoing, I'm going to tell you this. If talks are ongoing, that's what they're supposed to do. I've said that in videos. Shit, why wait till after Spence and Thurman to start for Crawford and Spence to talk? Because they're giving them a 60-day window. And I already said 30 of those 60 days are out of there due to communication breakdowns. and being in a holding pattern. The other 30 days are going to be productive. 30 days is just not enough time to get the deal done. So they should be working behind the scenes. They should be talking. And they should have something firmed up. But, you got these different personality types. Some are thinkers. Some are extroverts. Some are introverts. Some are guys who just want to be super organized and they're visionaries. And when you get all these different personality types together, things don't move as fast as you want them. So for Crawford and Spence, is the fight going to happen? Hey, get with that fly on the wall, and we'll see what they have to say. But the fact that it's rumored that there are some kind of discussions going on, that's a good thing. But the money is still going to be an issue. The only fighters who seem to be somewhat happy when it comes to the dough right now, and I just have to say it, it's Eddie Hearn's fighters. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, and not all of them, you've had guys, like you look at the Okolie situation, it's not that he wasn't happy with the money he was getting paid. He just saw that somebody else was wanting to give him a little bit more. So he went back and said, hey, just come close to what they're going to give me. And Eddie Hearn's like, yeah, no, not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Gave this man a Rolex. We took him from nothing to something. You're going to come and do me like that? And then they had the fallout. But it's not because Okolie didn't feel that he was making good money. He just was going to get paid more. But that's one thing I'm not aware of any fighters coming out saying anything bad about the money they get paid being on Matchroom. Good opportunity for someone like Deontay Wilder to go over there. Talk about sending a seismic shock throughout the boxing world if Deontay Wilder went over there and decided he was going to fight on the Matchroom label. And the thing about it, we talk about Deontay Wilder fighting on Matchroom, right? First of all, if he goes over to fight there, there's a great chance he gets AJ. Matter of fact, he will get AJ. Then you got, who else over there? Zhang. You got Hrgovic. You got Chisora. You got Dillian White. If Deontay Wilder was to go over to Matchroom, he has his fights for the rest of his career. He said he only won 6 fights, right? He goes over there, 5 fights right there. Boom, done. And Deontay Wilder, I think, beats. He beats Chisora. I think he kills Chisora. Dillian White, I think he kills Dillian White. Flip Hrgovic. Yeah, I think he decapitates Hrgovic. Jalil Zhang, I'm not so sure. And yeah, I'm high on the Chinese heavyweight fighter Jalil Zhang. I'm telling you, Zhang's about to fight. What's his name? Joe Joyce, right? Yo, let me tell you, not an easy fight for either one of those guys. But Deontay Wilder and Zhang, let me tell you, if Zhang hits Wilder, it doesn't matter if you're a diehard Wilder fan or not. If Zhang hits Wilder, he's a southpaw, big, 6'6", 6'7". Wilder's 6'7", but he's bigger and heavier and hits hard as hell. And he can fight Olympic pedigree, amateur pedigree, man. Set you up for that damn shot. Wilder could be in trouble. But at the same time, Zhang his defense is his face. So if Wilder gets to him, could be a problem. But then after that, you get Anthony Joshua. And, that's not an easy fight for Wilder either, especially, if you just look at what James was able to do with Jermell Charlo, Earl Spence, and Frank Martin. I mean, I can't help but assume he's going to be able to have some kind of success as a trainer with his new pupil, Anthony Joshua. And if that proves to be true, then Deontay Wilder, I just think he has an uphill battle against Anthony Joshua. So when you look at that potential plan, right, and how we've structured it, right, Deontay Wilder going to Eddie Hearn would be a great move. This man missed out on $100 million already, and I'm not going to say he's kicking himself because I don't know that. I know that a lot of people feel not all money is good money, But the fact that Deontay Wilder can't get the kind of money he wants for Ruiz, you know, he's frustrated. And I said this before. You guys go on my page and look at where I talk about promoters are paying fighters based on a curve. And I kind of did an explanation about how, you know, back in the day, fighters were getting paid and how they're getting paid now and how they're manipulating the numbers and stuff to make a fighter feel like they're really getting they're really taking care of them. In reality, they're not getting anything close to what they would have been getting, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. It's just there's an issue there. But one thing we know is when it comes to boxing, boxing's a business. These promoters, they're not in it to lose money. They're going to get their cut first. They're going to make sure that, you know, they come out in the green. It is what it is. Deontay Wilder always talking about energy and how he loves people. And, you know, you got the Shelly Finke. Sometimes see Deontay Wilder pull a Mike Tyson, put a kiss on a man. You know what I'm saying? It's just because of the emotion and energy that he feels, you know. But right now, he's not kissing nobody. He's looking to hit him with that Alabama slammer, hammer slammer. Deontay Wilder looking to knock somebody's teeth out because the money's just not there. And he's trying to understand how the hell is Joshua, Dillian White, you know, Chisora. How are these guys in the UK getting paid this big money and y'all telling me y'all can't give me not even anything close to that? Because it's just not how it works over here, the economics. Okay, now you look at Tyson Fury and Usyk. Who knows what's going on with this circus? Supposed to be done in Saudi Arabia, now maybe it's going to be done in the UK. They still haven't signed. You know, Tyson Fury still wants the majority of the money. Usyk wants a 50-50 split. Again, boils down to money. Usyk and Tyson Fury aren't afraid of each other. Deontay Wilder and Ruiz aren't afraid of each other. Anthony Joshua is not afraid of these guys. Crawford, Spence, Canelo, Bertavia, Bivol, Tank, Ryan. You see, there's a consistent theme here, man. Money, money, money. Let me tell you, the greed has just overtaken boxing. It's always been there. But it's like really in your face right now. And it's because, now this is my opinion, right? I think there was such a surge of money that came into boxing, while Mayweather was still involved, him and the Pacquiaos. But what you saw is as they kind of exited the sport at the same time, little pay-per-view numbers started to diminish a little bit. Those big pools of money were diminishing. You know, Eddie Hearn. This whole PBC Al Heyman thing, De La Hoya stuff falling apart, him and Schaefer to fall out. And then you saw that fighters, it didn't really sound as happy as before. You used to hear all these fighters, whether you were over at the Zone, whether you're over on PBC, not so much De La Hoya. You hear him talk about, hey man, and the money we're making, and you see him posting pictures of their cars, and I mean, they had nothing but positive things to say, right? You don't really hear that anymore. Something happened. Money dried up. And I think that these fighters, they don't really understand just how overnight, when it comes to economics and when it comes to things that are going on in the world and everything else, man, you know, being in a, what's it called, a recession, you know what I'm saying? It just, that affects everybody. It affects all businesses, man. And it's not just them. I don't even think it's a personal thing. They just got to sit back and take the emotion out of it and just look at what's going on around them. Almost every fight, there's the big fights we want, there's some kind of hang-up, some sticking point. 9 times out of 10 is over money. And it gets to a point to where it's like 8 times out of 10, it's the people behind the scenes going back and forth. It's not even a guarantee. The fight is guaranteed. Like, that's where things kind of start off. Once they get beyond that, there becomes other sticking points, multiple sticking points, where the fighter doesn't really have any involvement. So that being said, man, there's fights we want to see in 2022. Davis and Garcia, I think we're very close to getting that fight firmed up. I don't think they're gonna let that one slip through the cracks. A lot of wasted time, man. I mean, nobody wants to have a Conor Ben Eubank Jr. situation. You know how much money they lost on that? Nobody wants to go through that. That was something kind of beyond everyone's. Well, it was within control. Eddie Hearn just tried to pull a fast one, but the circumstances are kind of beyond their control. Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, nobody popping hot for no damn drugs. Nobody out here taking no fertility pills and Viagra or whatever they bringing condoms in the ring or whatever the hell they plan on doing to each other, right? Ain't nobody doing that weird stuff, man. You know, Bivol, Alvarez, Bertabiev. There's nothing funky going on there. It's just the WBC getting involved. It's just politics. They want to push fighters where they want, and they want to push it to where the money's going to be at. Crawford and Spence. There's no funny business going on. Nobody on drugs. Nobody doing anything foul to each other. They just, both of them, there's no trust. There's no money and there's no trust, man. You know, the money these guys want and there's no trust. If, let's say Terrence Crawford really has somebody, right, which we know he has connects with Warren Buffett, and he knows people, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But let's say he, no kidding, does have someone out there who's still willing to put up $25 million guarantees. $25 million guarantees for him and Spence. This person's willing to put the money up. Why, like at this point, why wouldn't PBC, Showtime execs, behind the scene guys, why wouldn't they go and say, okay, who's your source? We're ready to have a discussion with them. Right? Why not? You look Eddie Hearn, right? Eddie Hearn, we can say what we want about Fast Eddie, right? You see that issue they're having with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and I don't know if it's a site fee or the location, the venue, and 500,000 pounds or something, ridiculous amount of money to get the venue for that date, or something crazy, right? Conor McGregor comes out and says, hey, I'll cover it. Give me a call, give me a buzz, let's talk. Eddie Hearn immediately reached out and had a conversation with him. Eddie Hearn's not fooled. He's like, shit, this man gonna cover that for me? Cool, that's 500,000 pounds I don't have to worry about. You got a guy, an investor who wants to come in and say, look, I'm gonna put this money up. If it bombs, I'll still make sure they pay. No one here loses anything. Now, I don't know what they're gonna want on the back end or whatever, but if they're willing to put the money up, then maybe they should get themselves a promoting license and bid and go to purse bid and pick up the fight for $50 million. Nobody's going to outbid them. But I don't know. But more to come on these guys, man, and these fights. I just think we really need to understand, you know, this. It's more to it than what we actually see, man. There's so much more going on behind the scenes. And we're getting a little peek behind it. You look even like the Coppingers and the Dan Raphaels, even in their posts, they're like, anyone who says this is what's going on is a damn lie. I'm like, man, these guys are putting these kind of posts out because that's their job. Like they can't even come out here and intelligently speak about potential fights like they were accustomed to. Because their credibility gets shot. They're telling us one thing, then the next week they're telling us something else, and the next week they're telling us something else. They're at a point now, they're like, man, I have nothing to say. Because they don't know what direction this stuff is going. I don't know either, to be honest with you. It's frustrating. There's even some talks about charging $200 for the pay-per-view for Fury and Usyk, and charging some crazy amount if Crawford and Spence were to fight. That way, if they didn't sell a lot of pay-per-views, at least they raised the price point up. So if you're gonna do $100 for the pay-per-view and you only did 100,000 sales, well, if you charge $200 instead of the 100 and still do the 100,000 of sales, well, you just doubled your profit. And I'm like, first of all, nobody's paying no $200 damn dollars for no pay-per-view event. So let's not hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. But that being said, I'll leave y'all with that madness about the proposed $200 for pay-per-view events. if money is an issue. That way they don't have to worry about the sales due to all the illegal streaming. At least they can double their profits by having a higher price point to watch the event, which I just think is complete madness. But that being said, y'all keep cool. I'm about to go walking. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Appreciate your support as always. Enjoy your week. In the breeze.